Hello and welcome to another video that will guide you to a more fulfilling life. We all have dreams or ambitions that we wish we could pursue, but often fear holds us back. Maybe it's trying a new hobby, pursuing a business idea, or making a big life decision. But what stops us? Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of making mistakes. Today, let's talk about the importance of starting something today, regardless of those fears. You'll never know what you're capable of unless you take that first step, and even if you don't succeed at first, there are incredible lessons to be learned. Whenever we're on the verge of trying something new, fear creeps in. It's the voice that says, "What if I'm not good at this? What if I fail?" But here's the thing. Everyone feels fear when they're doing something unfamiliar. Courage is not about being fearless, it's about moving forward despite the fear. The truth is, if you wait until you feel ready, you will never start. The first step is always the hardest. But once you take it, you will realize that the fear starts to fade, and in its place comes growth, experience, and maybe even success. And remember, even if you don't succeed at first, you've already achieved something remarkable. You've started and gained invaluable knowledge along the way. Let me share with you the story of Sara Blakely, the founder of Spanx, a billion-dollar shapewear company. Before she became a successful entrepreneur, Sara was selling fax machines door to door, and she was constantly told, no. But she had a problem. Like many women, she was frustrated with how her clothes fitted, and she came up with an idea: footless pantyhose. However, Sara had no experience in fashion or business. She didn't know how to make a prototype, and she didn't have any investors. In fact, when she tried to pitch her idea to manufacturers, she was rejected again and again. Nobody believed in her idea. But Sara didn't give up. She was relentless, and after a year of knocking on doors, she finally convinced one manufacturer to give her idea a chance. Even when her product was created, Sara faced rejection from department stores, but she persisted, sending samples to buyers and pitching her idea. Eventually, Spanx made it into stores, and the product quickly gained popularity. Today, Sara Blakely is one of the youngest self-made female billionaires. If Sara had been too afraid to start or had given up after her initial rejections, Spanx wouldn't exist today. Her story teaches us that the fear of not knowing everything or facing rejection shouldn't stop you. Sometimes, not knowing what lies ahead is what makes the journey worthwhile. When you start something new, you're giving yourself the gift of experience. Even if it doesn't go perfectly, you will learn from it. That's the thing about taking action. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to become great. Whether you succeed or stumble, each step gives you insight, resilience, and wisdom. And every experience shapes you, not just as a person but as someone who now has the courage to face challenges head-on. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of the process. Now let's look at Steven Spielberg, one of the most famous filmmakers of all time. You'd think that someone as talented as Spielberg had an easy path to success, right? Well, not exactly. In fact, when Spielberg applied to film school at the University of Southern California, he was rejected. Twice. It would have been easy for Spielberg to take those rejections as a sign that he wasn't meant to be a filmmaker. But he didn't give up. Instead, he pursued his dream in other ways. He attended a different school and eventually got an internship at Universal Studios. Spielberg's big break came when he impressed executives with a short film he made, and that led to his first directing job. The rest is history. But even after his early success, Spielberg faced failure again. One of his first feature films, Jaws, had countless production problems and delays. The mechanical shark didn't work, budgets were blown, and Spielberg was afraid his career might end before it even truly began. Yet despite these challenges, he persevered, learned from each setback, and turned Jaws into a box office hit that revolutionized Hollywood. Today, Spielberg is considered one of the greatest directors in film history. What we can learn from Spielberg is that rejection and failure are part of the journey. Even when things don't go as planned, there's always an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to come back stronger. Both Sara Blakely and Steven Spielberg faced setbacks and failures early on in their careers. But instead of letting those failures define them, they used them as stepping stones to success. They understood that failure is not the end, it's a lesson. When you take the first step towards something new, it's important to remember that you will likely face challenges. But those challenges are not signs that you should stop. They're signs that you're growing, learning, and building the resilience needed to succeed. And even if you don't succeed the first time, you're closer to your goal than you were before. Here's a key point. If you want to achieve something, you have to start. Often, we wait for the perfect moment, thinking that someday everything will line up perfectly and we will feel ready. But that perfect moment rarely comes. The only thing standing between you and your dream is your willingness to take that first step today. Maybe you've always wanted to start a business, learn to play an instrument, or write a book. Whatever it is, don't let fear stop you from starting. The journey might not be easy, and you might fail at first, but you will learn and grow from those experiences. And who knows, you might just find that you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. Starting something new can be intimidating, but the rewards, both in terms of personal growth and eventual success, are worth it. You may stumble, and you may even fail at first, but those experiences are valuable. Don't let fear hold you back from trying something new, taking that challenge, and stepping into the unknown. Remember Sara Blakely, who turned rejection into a billion-dollar company, and Steven Spielberg, who turned setbacks into cinematic masterpieces. They succeeded not because they were fearless, but because they were brave enough to start despite their fears. So, I ask you, what is it that you've been dreaming of doing? Whatever it is, start today. You'll never know what you're capable of unless you take that first step. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and would like to see similar content, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing.